Welcome back in another episode of Blindside Sports. I know this has been a while, right? What episode are we even on? Like that? 27, 28, something like that. Hold on. Well, let's see. All right, this is episode 28 of Blindside Sports. Boy, do I have an episode for you guys today. As it's Monday, as we're recording this, this is gonna be out Monday too. This is a quick, little record. It's probably not gonna be quick, but kind of didn't post an episode right after the championship week. Kind of took a little break, well needed. I'm back on the grind. We're gonna have a couple episodes this week. So we're gonna have this episode this week, which is diving into some stories, and we have some good stuff to talk about. And then Friday or Saturday, I want to put out an episode basically talking about the Super Bowl. We're gonna dive into some prop bets, and then whatever else comes up. I'm sure other stuff is gonna come up in the next 4 days. It's massive time in sports, and that episode 2 will be the NBA trade deadline episode, as that is coming out. Now I didn't really officially react to Tom Brady retiring. That was kind of a crappy episode. If you guys are new to the podcast or new to the YouTube, like, subscribe, follow me on social media, do all that, because you know what? The grind never stops. I'm back on this grind, trying to build the following, even in the NFL offseason, NBA, MLB, March Madness. We still got stuff to talk about. So without further ado, let's get into it. This was one of those things, recording, where I'm like, yeah, where do I even lead? And I think I'm going to lead probably the biggest story that, in the past week, right? And it's the Brian Flores suing the NFL for not enough racial, a lack of minority head coaches, to put it better. So let's give you guys some context here. Emmett Douglas, Blindside Sports. So basically what happened is Flores, hold on, get rid of this gum situation. So Flores was like, so he got fired from the Dolphins, and let's be real, I don't really think he deserved to be fired from the Dolphins, and that stuff like that happens. And he basically sues the NFL for basically not hiring enough minority head coaches. He sued the NFL, the Broncos, and I believe the Giants and the Dolphins. And then a crazy story broke too, in this lawsuit. And this is one of them where I'm like, all right. The first crazy thing is apparently the Dolphins owner was paying Flores $100K to lose games, and then Hugh Jackson spoke out on it. And then also he was suing the Broncos a couple years back when Broncos had that interview with Flores. Apparently, John or Elway and some other people were like really drunk, suing the Giants too for they already had their head coach option, and he was salty by that. So that's basically what happened. And my thoughts are: look, first of all, it's crazy because the NFL population it's a black league. I think the official stat I heard was 73% of the NFL is African American. So if that shows, then like that's a pretty we know where the league is, right? To only have a couple of minority coaches in the NFL, I mean that number has gone up now. I mean, Lovie Smith, who just got hired today as I'm recording this, got hired. Lovie Smith just got hired today as we're recording this. And Mike McDaniel, who we're going to get to in a minute, he got hired yesterday, couple minority coaches. But Flores' point is this isn't enough, right? That is crazy. I feel like in a mostly black league, I feel like it would be better for the players to have, more minority head coaches, because look, it what it shows is, hey, these players would, these coaches would understand more of what the players have gone through, and there's more of a connection there. It's really weird because 7 teams have not had a minority head coach. That is strange. And it's crazy to me. And I do think that should be, the thing fixed. And the thing too that I don't know how I feel about is this Rooney rule. All right. If you guys don't know what the Rooney rule is, it's a rule where basically a coach has to be a person of color, has to be interviewed for the head coaching position. And to me, I get where the rule's coming from. Don't get me wrong, right? But in this Brian Flores situation, it proves how there can be some trouble going into this, right? I completely understand the Rooney rule. You want more of these opportunities. But teams like the Giants, where you already know who you want to pick up as your head coach, you already know that guy, and they decide, all right, so we're focused on Dable, and they can kind of tell that what's it called, that they're really not wanted. Like, I feel like you can tell, like, in an interview, if what Flores was claiming about the Giants, he was doing it to follow the rule. I don't know how I feel about the Rooney rule. I get the premises, and I actually really like the premises because obviously, like I said, this needs to be fixed. But can we, we got to kind of think about this Rooney rule and how, maybe teams could do it smarter, I guess. You don't have to, you don't have to, like what the Giants did. Like, I don't really like that. I think that's BS, man. And another thing too is when the Texans hired Lovie Smith, Adam Schefter tweeted out a statement from Brian Flores' attorneys. And what this statement basically went on to read was, Flores is happy to see a minority head coach hired, but we still believe that the Texans didn't want to hire Flores because of his pursuit against racial justice in the NFL. That's what they had to say about it. And the Texans are I think they're just doing it like to hire Smith. I feel like they would have hired McCown if like it just wasn't horrible in the media, but we'll get to that in a minute. But for this Flores lawsuit, final thoughts. Respect the heck out of Flores, right? He's even admitted he's never going to play again. And the thing is too is, if you guys, I said this earlier, but the Dolphins owner tanked, or he tried to get Flores to tank $100,000. He'd pay him $100,000 for every game he intentionally lost. That is weak. That is cowardly. We are playing the game of football to win. We are not playing it to lose, right? As obvious as that sounds, right? The game of football is about winning, and for you to pay your head coach to tank, I don't think that's like that. That's not really fair. This is why you hire the coach, in the first place, to win the game. Let Flores do his craft. If the team sucks, the team sucks. But you have to pay the guy to lose. I just think that's really low of the Dolphins owner. And that Dolphins, we're going to get to them in a minute, man, but they're, not the best. Emmett Douglas, Blindside Sports, episode 28. Get me on Twitter, Emmett Nosey04. Follow the show, Blindside Pod 11. Insta, my personals, Emmett Nosey. And my show handles, Blindside Sports 00. And my TikTok is at Blindside Sports 7. YouTube is also Blindside Sports. If you're listening on audio and you like to see video, go check that out. Now, let's dive into this Mike McDaniel being hired by the Miami Dolphins. And here's my thoughts on this. Flores shouldn't have been fired. I've been saying that from the start. Horrible playmaking, horrible decision making by the Dolphins. But if we're going to talk, firing Flores and going out and getting a guy, this is probably the best guy you could have gotten. This guy has been on multiple. He's been following Kyle Shanahan. Doing he's a Shanahan. He's on the Shanahan coaching tree. That's the word I was looking for. Done some things. He really helped the 49ers run game explode. Really did that. 49ers run game is just like it's crazy. He learned from Shanahan. He's also a part that coaching. I feel like at this point the Shanahan coaching tree is better than the Bill Belichick coaching tree. And the point is all my point, for this hiring is for this resume that our guy Mike McDaniel has, right? And the Dolphins' horrible move to move on from Brian Flores. This is the best the Dolphins could do. You hire a head coach who has a beast resume, worked for all these good guys, really helped evolutionize the 49ers run game this year. And, with a play in NFC Championship, been riding Kyle Shanahan's side, been following Kyle Shanahan. So this is overall a good move. And despite me hating Flores or hating the firing of Flores, right? Despite me hating that move and, saying that whatever the Dolphins do isn't going to be very good, all this, all that, I can't lie. Good move by the Dolphins. It's a solid move by the Dolphins. Obviously, I haven't seen him in a coaching situation, but, yeah. Emmett Douglas on Blindside Sports. The other move that I want to dive into is Lovie Smith getting hired by the Houston Texans. I'm proud of the dude. Bet he's been a part of some good cultures over there. With made the playoffs with Chicago and Tampa Bay. Good coach. But this is ultimately better than Josh McCown. And, the Brian Flores could have been hired. But at the same time, I kind of, at this point, with all this lawsuit stuff, I understand why teams wouldn't want to take a gamble on the guy until this gets cleared. Even though he hasn't done anything bad, that's just how the teams are going to go, right? That's just how this all works. And, you just have to understand that with the NFL. I feel like he should have been hired. I think he's a better coach. But at the same time, if you're Flores, do you really want to go over to Houston? That place is a literal bleep show, man. Like, that is such a sketchy run place. Like, and how are you going to, okay, let me say this. How are you going to try and hire Josh McCown, who coached high school, no NFL coaching experience? I get he was a former player, but stop it. Are you serious? Man, this is why the Houston Texans, they're the biggest. When Doug Peterson got hired, and they almost had Leftwich. Is that his name? And the check, and it was over the GM. I was just like, wow, that's a bleep show move. But I feel like at this point, with all this if the Texans were to hire Josh McCown, it would be secured as the biggest dumpster fire in the NFL. But I think they still are, man. Jets are improving. Jaguars are a close second. If no one likes the GM and you're not wanting to do anything about it, and Dolphins could be a third. Like those are, and the Dolphins are like actually have potential. It's just their front office is a diaper fire and it's like exploding, right? Emmett Douglas, Blindside Sports. Karis LeVert got shipped off to the Cleveland Cavaliers yesterday for Ricky Rubio in a first round draft pick lottery. Right, is it lottery protected? Yeah, it is lottery protected. This is a good move for the Patriots are obviously trying to ship, remove, or rebuild. They're not doing good. And the Cavs get another weapon in LeVert, as the Cavs are fourth place in the Western Conference or in the Eastern Conference, which is kind of crazy at this point. I actually really like the move. LeVert's averaging 18 a game, putting up some pretty solid numbers. Field goal percentages, a little down, like 44%. But I feel like him on the Cleveland Cavaliers could be a good fit, especially with all No Colin Sexton, none of that. You get Darius Garland and Levert to backcourt. That could be something. All I gotta say is thank God those James Harden trade rumors ended. Thank God the Nets are smart enough. Now I know we are all talking like, oh, this is good. This is whether like this super team's a flop. You have to wonder. It has potential, but God. Wow. If the freaking Nets really traded James Harden for Ben Simmons, dude, they honestly deserve. They honestly deserve what they had coming. I mean, let's be real. Let's be real. I mean, James Harden is 10 times better than Ben Simmons. If anything, why is Kyrie still on the team when he's only playing half the time? I don't understand that motive. Kyrie Irving is he can't even play home games. If anything, I want to trade Kyrie. Get him, get him off that team. I want somebody who can play full time and is going to bring it. I don't know if Ben Simmons would be that at this point. I mean, with what he do with the Sixers, he wants out of the Sixers, but that gives a winning culture and more opportunities for James Harden and Kevin Durant. And all Ben Simmons will have to do is just pass the ball and play defense. Like he wouldn't have to really score and you don't have to do none of that. But God, I'm just glad that the Nets shut that one down. Harden for Simmons would be horrible. Like there'd have to be more than just Ben Simmons for the Nets. Like you'd have to get picks or another player or something. With like Ben Simmons, this huge contract. So yeah, thank God that's not happening. Blindside Sports, Emmett Douglas with you guys, hanging out on this Monday night as I'm recording. Get me on Twitter at MNOC04, show Blindside Pod 11, Insta MNOC Blindside Sports 00, TikTok Blindside Sports 7. Subscribe to the YouTube, like, comment down below. If you haven't, checked out the podcast, share the podcast with your friends, download it, turn on notifications so you don't miss every time I post. That also goes for the YouTube because word of mouth advertising is the best, right? Word of mouth advertising is what gets me, look, if you go up, just say, hey man, this is a good podcast. I think you'd enjoy it, right? Send it to your friend, post it, do whatever. Let's get the word out. Blindside takeover. All right. Kyler Murray has unfollowed and taken down all of his Cardinals stuff on Instagram. And the report from what rumors and stuff I've heard, is he's unhappy with his contract. Cardinals don't want to pay it because Cardinals want to see if he could stay healthy for a full season, do something in the playoffs. Kyler thinks he should get paid. He thinks he should get that money. All I gotta say is I'm 100% if Kyler Murray, look, he's been having I've been 3 years in the NFL. Look, if Kyler Murray, if he wants his contract, like if he wants his contract, like right now, after he can't stay healthy for a full season and that collapse in the postseason, I think he's tripping. I think one more year, let it go from there, right? Let him play, let him do all that, and just see what happens. Can he stay healthy for a full season? Kyler Murray's had the second half slump 2 years in a row because it's injury, because of whatever. He's only been good for the first half of the season, 2 years in a row. I don't think that's worth the future. And I just don't like how you have to unfollow the Cardinals, take all your Cardinal stuff down. That just seems real tacky to me. It seems kind of douchey. Like, come on, man. Just go up to him and be like, hey, and explain your contract situation. Like, I don't think he deserves a paycheck at this point. Like, a pay raise, I don't think he deserves that big boy money, if you know what I'm saying. That's not what I just don't see Kyler Murray getting that at this moment. Give it a year if you can stay healthy, because what Kyler Murray does when he's good is impressive, right? When Kyler Murray's fully healthy and he's out there playing football for the Arizona Cardinals at full strength, he's dang near unstoppable. We saw the Cardinals first half of the season. Then he sprained his ankle, came back, was okay. Wasn't the Kyler Murray from the first half. We saw him in the playoffs. Wasn't good. Quite frankly, it was horrible. And, that's just what it is. All right. Kyler Murray doesn't deserve the pay this year. I don't like that he unfollowed the Cardinals on Instagram. That's just real tacky to me. Kyler Murray, stop it. This one is a kind of a story that I don't know. This is the GOAT has left us, right? This is a story that I feel very weird about because on one hand, I'm happy that he's gone. But on the second hand, as a guy who's only 17 years old, not seeing Tom Brady on Sundays next season in the NFL is just going to be really weird. And I'm happy for him. He's going to retire, go spend time with his family. I mean, definitely putting his dues. This, 22 seasons in the NFL, 7 rings, all these Pro Bowls, doing it like a boss, definitely the GOAT. So I just want to come on this podcast and share a couple memories that I've, of my Tom Brady memories. The first one, as a Seahawks fan, is kind of heartbreaking, and that was in the 2015 Super Bowl when the Seahawks played the New England Patriots. Wasn't his fault, but he was associated when Russell Wilson threw the ball on the 1-yard line. It was an interception. Also, I obviously, what comes to my mind too is Deflategate. I really remember that. I remember, dude, when I was like 10 or 11, when this whole Deflategate started, I used to be the biggest Tom Brady hater known to man. Like, I was like, this guy, he's cheat. No, this guy's a cheater. Like, because I was just salty as a Seahawks fan that we lost. I really think that's what it comes down to. I mean, Deflategate was still a little suspicious, not gonna lie. Also, I remember I really remember Tom Brady coming back from 28-3 against the Atlanta Falcons in the Super Bowl. All my Tom Brady memories are Super Bowl, right? Isn't that crazy? Like, these are just what come to my mind real quick. Tom Brady comes, it was like, oh, Patriots about to lose. Yeah, go Matt Ryan. And then Tom Brady comes back. The Falcons choke. Tom Brady just played his heart out. Kind of like the Rams almost, but the difference is the Patriots were actually able to pull through. Another Tom Brady memory I have is obviously him leaving the Patriots, joining the Bucs. I think I was just more a Patriots hater because that's why I started to respect him a lot when he's on the Bucs. I don't know why. I don't know how that works. Also, I do remember a funny memory of Tom Brady is when he threw the pick against the Titans in the wild card a couple of years ago, 2019 season, 2020 playoffs, because it was technically 2020. Good memories of Tom Brady. I think when he won that Super Bowl against the Bucs, that really just proved his legacy as the GOAT. Like, it was, there's still people questioning it, and most people think he's the greatest quarterback. I don't know if I go greatest football player. I'd definitely go greatest quarterback. A lot of people think he's the greatest football player all time after that. Funny memory of Tom Brady was when he got drunk and threw the Lombardi trophy on at the Super Bowl celebration parade thing when the Bucs won last year. Also, I gotta give big shout out to Tom Brady for giving us stuff to talk about as people who cover sports, right? Like, that's the main gist of it. Tom Brady, the GOAT, best quarterback to ever touch the football. I don't know if I'd say best football player, but hey, because some of those dudes are freak athletes, right? Like Tom Brady didn't really have that going for him, unfortunately, but a lot of these dudes were like freak athletes. And they had some good accolades. Unfortunately, Tom Brady didn't have the accolades, which is kind of like, because man, if imagine if Tom Brady just had a little more athleticism than he did, right? Like, that would just be absolutely insane. Emmett Douglas, Blindside Sports, episode 28, coming to you live from the Blindside Studios, unless we're not live because this will be up later. There's no live stream situation about this. I don't know why I said come to you live. We're coming to you direct from the Blindside Sports Studios somewhere in Washington. I also want to give I also want to dive into my favorite moments, my best and worst of this NFL season. Number one, best, start off positive, right? My best of this NFL season is probably Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals making it to the Super Bowl, right? Nobody expected this at the beginning of the year. We were all questioning how's Joe Burrow going to look after tearing his ACL? What's going to happen? They didn't draft a lineman. They drafted Jamar Chase, right? There's a lot of questions due to the Bengals, and the Bengals were able to come out, go 3-0 in the playoffs, and now they're up against the Los Angeles Rams in the Super Bowl. We'll have more on that game on Friday. But Joe Burrow make it to the Super Bowl, definitely a highlight. And no one expected this, right? I don't know anyone in the media who picked the Bengals to go to the Super Bowl. If you guys can find that, let me know, right? Because I'm game to hear about it. I am game to hear about someone picking the Bengals to go to the Super Bowl. I think that's just some crazy stuff right there. That's an outlandish prediction. And if you could show me proof that the Bengals were to go to the Super Bowl, someone picked that in August, a shout out, and I'd let you come on this podcast and vent it away, right? I would let you go crazy on the show, right? It's really cool to see, second year quarterback Joe Burrow has looked very calm in these playoffs, and you have to respect him for it, right? He is looking like he's not a second year player where, as Kyler Murray did. Kyler Murray looked like he was all tweaky. Joe Burrow hasn't looked nervous this whole playoffs, despite getting eaten up by the Titans 9 times. Probably, one of my worst moments this season was Russell Wilson getting hurt. Seahawks still kind of had a chance, I guess. And, when Russell Wilson got hurt, that just sealed the icing on the cake for me. Another best this season, too, was Bills and Josh Allen doing good. Another best, Mac Jones. That guy's a beast, right? Mac Jones, in that Patriots, Bill Belichick and Mac Jones was crazy. Best of the season, too, is Derek Carr and the Raiders doing what they lost in the wild card, but all that diversity, or not diversity. Is that the word I'm looking for? Yes or no? No, I don't think so. All that change, all that BS that happened over the season that could affect players, and they're still able to go that far. My worst of the season is, obviously Raiders, all these, mess ups on the Raiders roster. Another worst of the season is it kind of sucked to see the Chargers go out the way they did, and Brandon Staley's bad coaching, weird play calls. It kind of wasn't really the biggest fan of that. My other worst was the Browns' struggle and collapse, mainly due to injuries. Also, same deal, kind of with the Ravens too. Worst also, Brian Flores getting fired. I didn't like that one at all. Yeah, that's what I have to. Those are my best and worst of the NFL season on Blindside Sports. Where do we want to go next? Where do we want to go next? Now, I don't know if this was just me or if I was tripping or what, but I don't know, man. This Pro Bowl was really, it just didn't hit that different for me this year. I feel like I was more into it in years past, maybe because I don't know what it was. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to, with the Pro Bowl, we know what we're expecting, right? Offense, players not given a you-know-what, right? No tackling, none of that. But I just don't know why. It just didn't hit different for me. And I don't know if it was just something to do with, something to do with just not having it and then just it getting worse by the year. I don't know what it was. I did. It was kind of interesting too to see, when one team would score to get the 4th and 15 thing. The 4th and 15 rule was interesting, right? I was, man, that was awesome, right? That was kind of cool. But I just wasn't invested by it because I think we've been really spoiled the past couple of weeks with like real insane competitive football games to where I was like, look, man, this isn't good stuff, man. So I will admit I kept switching between the Nuggets and the Nets games as this was happening, right? As this Pro Bowl was happening. I go Nuggets, Nets, Pro Bowl, kind of change around, see what's happening. It kind of got interesting though with like the when the NFC started to do something in the fourth quarter. Patrick Mahomes didn't even look good in the Pro Bowl. Like, how weird is that? Patrick Mahomes did not look good in the Pro Bowl, boy. It's like, that is funny. Like, he just like wasn't Patrick Mahomes, man, and that's just weird, right? Like, I don't know what's up with that. Like, the Chiefs really just gagged away that second half. Blindside Sports, Emmett Douglas with you guys. If you guys haven't checked out some of my latest interviews, go check those ones out. We had Brian Noe, we had Kobe Norman, we had Eddie Garcia, VJ Husky, Justin Cooper, Ben Maller, Jonas Knox, Brian Finley, Chris Perfett, Ethan Hong, bunch of names on the podcast. Go check those ones out, right? Those are always my favorite to interview, to just talk people, especially when I get to co-host with people like I did with VJ and Kobe. Getting people's takes on sports is just obviously like why I'm doing this. What else do I want to touch on? I had something like literally that I was just gonna say, and I was just like, what happened to it? Oh yeah, Alvin Kamara. God, it's not looking good for Kamara, as he was at a nightclub in Vegas and like something with like his escort, and he basically, the point is, this guy he was playing, or this guy at the nightclub basically got absolutely mollywopped by Alvin Kamara, right? There's no other way to put it. I don't know how I'm gonna put it, but like he man, that guy got the 1-2 punch to the dome. Like, it was not good, right? Enough joking aside, this dude, I believe it was 8 punches, 23 kicks or stomps or something like that. Some sort of broken bone. I never even heard of the bone. Put this dude in the ER, right? Looks like Alvin Kamara could be facing something. Obviously, some details got out today, like the 8 punches, 23 kicks thing that got out today. But unfortunately, we don't get to hear an update on this until like March 8th, because Alvin Kamara's court case has been pushed off. I feel like that's the usual stuff like this. Like, it just gets pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed. But Alvin Kamara, I think the craziest part about this game, or about this whole story, was when Alvin Kamara played the Pro Bowl and then he got arrested 2 hours later. That's crazy. He he really got arrested 2 hours after the Pro Bowl, man. Can you imagine just playing in a game and then like 2 hours later, you're in the Clark County detention center? Definitely not good for Kamara. Who knows what's gonna look like for the NFL? Who knows what's gonna happen if he faces some serious jail time? I think the initial report that I did end up seeing was 5 years, and if he does face that, then that's not good. Definitely not a situation that you want your team to be in. So, or your player to be in as a team. So yeah, bad news for Alvin Kamara. Why would you, man? 20. Who needs 23 kicks? It was like him and like his escort or something like that. But like 23, that like, I feel bad for the guy. Like, real talk, who got absolutely destroyed by Alvin Kamara. Like, that, God, dude, that must suck. That must suck. Blindside Sports, Emmett Douglas with you, episode 28 of the program. I'm going to give you guys some picks here. I'm going to give y'all my thoughts. I'm going to just bet a couple random NBA games here, give you guys my thoughts. So without further ado, let's hop into it. So we have the Lakers versus the Bucks, and this is a -4 situation for the Milwaukee Bucks. I'm gonna take the Lakers +4. I think it's gonna be a closer than a 4-point game for the Lakers. I do see him coming out on top in a close game. Wouldn't be surprised if like the Giannis Antetokounmpo stuff. Like I don't know. This NFL or NBA bets aren't like as crazy as like NFL bets where I have to give you like an exclamation. That's just what I'm taking. Expect the Lakers to kind of ball out. So yeah. That's gonna wrap it up for this episode of Blindside Sports. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, download, share, comment, share the show with your friends, do whatever. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned. Peace.